School has been involved in things like this in a lot of different ways. We've had, through the leadership of Professor Carol Fletcher and Professor Murillo, a couple of workshops for Latino media. Then we have courses that are taught in our RTVF department on media action projects. Professor Kumar is one of those who teaches those courses. We're developing new programs all the time to serve local communities and local businesses.
What we are going to focus on is the first of the two models, because that is the thrust of this grant, is to help us understand how participation in the community processes are a good foundation to go to the next level, where you start doing participatory media through community processes. So I'm going to turn it over now to Professor Mario Murillo to bring us in through a brief history of how participatory movements began in the world of broadcasting and media.
Thank you, and again, it's so great to see everybody here. Something that Ashish, myself, Professor Marasoff, and the whole school have been really eager to get together. And wearing my 3 hats here on campus as RTVF chair of the Radio, Television, Film Department, dealing with students on a daily basis, many of whom, in all honesty, don't even consider the ideas and the concepts of community media as a relevant endeavor, because they're so immersed in the mainstream kind of large-scale mass media that they're very often aspiring to become part of. So for Ashish and myself, this is what we live and breathe on a daily basis, and it's really exciting. Also, as the co-director, I'm so glad to see so many people from GUAC here, and from Project Doc, and from all the other organizations that, in one way, shape, or form, we have a connection with through the Center for Civic Engagement, which is also obviously part of this. And then I think the third component, which we've referenced very little, and I'm going to talk a little bit about today, is the radio station, because I work directly with the community licensed radio station of Hofstra University, WRHU. I have a role in the morning show, particularly working with the staff and the students and some community volunteers in the 7 to 9 a.m. block of the morning show. And that's one space that I've been trying to, and we've been working on developing as a space for the community, both as regular guests and commentators about a whole array of developments and issues in the community, but also as we move forward, actually participating, as Ashish pointed out, as participants in developing the programs within the radio station. So this is obviously a really exciting moment for us here in the school.
As you can see, everybody's doing a little bit of everything. We have 50+% using Twitter, 86% using Facebook on the last survey, about a third or more using YouTube, not so much Pinterest and LinkedIn. A lot of people still using press releases and events. Almost everybody has a website, of course. Flyers and letters, traditional paper media are still being used. Next slide. And then the list continues. About a third are doing radio interviews with regularity. Radio PSAs, almost a third of everybody doing them. TV PSAs a lot less. Then we get into podcasts. Nobody's really doing that, or VNRs. SEO, search engine optimization, which we'll touch on today. Only not even a quarter of the groups are involved with SEO. But people are doing TV and media advisories and blogs. They're about 20% doing blogs and other types of media. So these are the tactics and tools. Here's the problem. If everybody's trying to do a little bit of everything, are you doing anything really, really well? And that becomes an issue for nonprofits as well. As you know, you don't have the staff to do everything. And so those who are trying to do everything sometimes fall short as a result. So just to give you a very, very quick overview of what we're talking about in the larger macro sense, the 3 C's of convergence. We started talking about convergence 25, 30 years ago, that someday all of the media was going to end up in one place. Well, guess what? It is. It's on your table. It's in your pocket. Your cell phone. Your cell phone has taken the role of what convergence was supposed to be. The idea that everything goes into one place. Voice, data, photography, the web, print, music, now video, everything in your phone. So it's become the ultimate media resource. And of course it creates some challenges, it creates efficiencies, etc. And what this means is that if you create content, now rather than having to create different content for different platforms, in some cases, not in all, but in some cases you can create content that can be shared across platforms. So what you do on your website can also go to Facebook and can also be shared on Twitter, may even be translatable to a newsletter, et cetera, et cetera. You're not always reinventing the wheel each time you want to use a different platform. You can reuse, recycle, and
Hi, my name is Beria Camargo, and I'm the Director of Programs with Strong Youth, and we are a youth, family, and community development agency that focuses on addressing the issues of violence, gun, youth, gang, all types of violence. And what's been a very interesting day, we've been using a lot of media, but I think as the culture changes, as the age groups of the people that we work with change, we're learning that we have to kind of tweak things a little bit. And so as we're here, and something that's really struck me that has been an eye-opener for me is how much power media really has. So far, we've used a lot of media, like us holding it, like I mean by us, the volunteers and the organizers in the organization. Like we've had kids and families share their stories, and then we distribute it. But now I'm realizing that how much power there is in those kids that we serve and those families that we serve, in them creating the media, them creating the videos, them creating the scripts, the recordings or whatever it may be, and they deciding where it needs to go and what changes need to be made, whether it be policy or just local cultural changes within their community. One of the biggest things that we've tried to work in is the racial tension that is happening in our communities between, black and brown, a huge issue right now in Hempstead. And we've tried so hard, like us doing it, us telling them, unite, come together. But now I'm seeing that maybe if they take ownership of that message and they produce something around that it might be that even more powerful. So that's something I'm taking away from